Welcome, welcome, welcome. It's been a long time, but welcome to another episode of the Eurotal podcast, where we focus on Dynasty Fantasy Football. How you doing, Mr. Hand?
I'm doing great, but I've been a little perplexed all day. I've been wondering, so with this reduced capacity potential for college football, does Nebraska still get to count those as sellouts
I mean,
for the sellout streak?
they're going to regardless. I see they're losing their best player now, too.
Yeah.
Transfer portal. I have a feeling it's probably coming up here to be close to dad.
Yeah, it could be.
Be my guess.
But I mean, Frost isn't exactly an awesome dude, so.
No. But let's hope they extend him for a few more years.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
He's the savior. Frost warning.
Well, so everybody kind of knows the roadmap here. We're going to cover two different things at minimum here. The first thing we're going to cover is, the breaking news reaction to the trade that was made almost 2 months ago or a month ago, however long ago it was, the Fournette, Clyde Edwards, or Fournette for 101.
They don't say we're the best in the business for nothing.
Yep. So we're hopping on that breaking news, and then we're going to do a brief touch on the Twitter mock that our astute Al MMDL did on Twitter that I in no way had any part in drafting myself.
Well, you voted.
It's true. I guess we should probably cover some other breaking news. I see that Dalvin Cook is potentially going to be holding out.
Yeah, I know. It sounds terrible. If only, I should probably trade for Madison now. Oh, I have him.
So it's an interesting time because the Vikings have historically always given their players deals. So the question is, are they kind of hamstrung by what they currently have, which they might not be, but they might be, from giving Cook a deal.
But he wants David Johnson money, right?
Yep, it's kind of what it sounds like. So 13-ish million a year.
He's not worth 13 million.
Yeah, if you're giving him a 2-year contract, maybe.
Yeah, that you can cut down to a 1 if you need to.
So
Madison's plenty good enough.
I would agree. Madison can handle the workload, and
you're just biased because he lives across the street from you.
It took him forever to mow his lawn, but he did. Him and his family went out there and mow the lawn. It looks great now, but it doesn't bother me as much. But my one neighbor that lives across the street, he was pretty angry. I'm like, just calm down. So
fair enough.
But okay, well, let's get into the trade here. So, I was sitting there looking at my team, and I had Josh Jacobs on my team, and I like Josh Jacobs, but I had some concerns with him. And for me, I looked at Josh Jacobs and realized I like Clyde Edwards-Helaire better, and I wanted to find some way to trade with Ben to get Clyde Edwards-Helaire instead of Josh Jacobs. So I approached him, and it was a trade that went over a period of almost a week and discussions. And originally, the trade discussion started off as Josh Jacobs and picks for his picks, and that was it. There's no other players. That trade, it fell apart, and kind of slept on things one night, and then I woke up and I'm like, well, I keep trying to trade one of my tight ends because I don't want, or I thought I had the Valiant, Andrews, and Waller. What if I had to throw Waller in there and just ask for Fournette, who I know he's been trying to shop?
Quick sidebar. Why do you need to trade your tight ends? You can start up to 4 of them.
I could start up to 4 of them, but I'll find another star and I'll trade. I would trade a tight end every year. That's the new goal. Every year, trade a tight end.
I mean, when you can start 4, they have to be valuable, right?
Well, I started 4 last year. Look at my record.
Yeah, that worked really well.
Yeah. So I ended up changing things in there and putting Waller in there, which gave, Ben doesn't really have a great tight end right now. He's got a few good prospects, Irv Smith.
Gesicki.
But we ended up finding some common ground. And final trade ended up being we'll use some screen things so people can see what we're actually looking at here. Except for I have no idea.
I'll vamp while you're saying he also has the great Jimmy Graham and Sternberger. So there's a bunch of guys who have a shot, but
yeah. Well, you probably can't see my screen now, can you?
Nope.
Okay. Well,
you're really good at this.
I say this is a lot easier to do on a PC. I open this up and it's like, this shit doesn't make sense at all. Well, anyways, I'll put that picture here later, somewhere on the screen. The final trade ended up being I sent Josh Jacobs, Darren Waller, the 208, the 308, and my 2021 second round pick for Fournette, the 101 or Clyde Edwards-Helaire, the 301, and a 2021 fourth. So some good back and forth. For me, the big thing is I liked Clyde Edwards-Helaire more than Josh Jacobs, and I'll take Fournette over Waller too. So what are your thoughts on that?
So first thing I would probably note here is that Ben needed to get rid of Fournette. So we've been talking about this ad nauseum, that he needs to get rid of Fournette. He needs to get something for him. He was struggling to do so. I don't know. I have no idea how hard he was trying. If I was to guess, probably not that hard.
I think the thing was he was trying, but people just came in with this perception that he was going to want more than they were willing to give. I think reactions I heard from people on Twitter and Texas, geez, if I knew he would got rid of Fournette for that, I would have done X. I'm like, well, that shit's on you then. You got to throw what you think might be a bad offer out there, see what it is, see what happens. And sometimes people get offended with trades, but I'm going to offend as many people as I can with trades. That's one of my goals.
Yep. I do recall you in the past saying you'd never trade with Ben again, and here we are. So
I have come across, I think, with every single person that I'm like, they're dead to me.
I recall telling you that there's no way you're not going to trade with him again. Okay, so then moving on. So I'm actually really high on Josh Jacobs, so I think that was a good get. I'm kind of indifferent on Darren Waller, but I can see where somebody is like, I'm not necessarily low. I'm just Yeah, I could go either way.
Yeah.
But I could see him being really high. So I'm gonna go ahead and assume that he's really high on Waller. The 208 in this class is not your normal 208. So
No.
that has a lot more value than on the surface. And then getting the next year's second, which depending on how you think your team's going to end up is a little bit variable.
Yeah.
Okay. So from there, where I think the mistake in this trade is you taking Clyde Edwards-Helaire at 101. That's where I think the mistake in this whole trade is. He is not the number one player in this draft class.
Well, it's going to be CEH and JTT.
I'm aware, but
yeah,
you wouldn't have gotten Clyde Edwards-Helaire if you didn't do this trade.
Yeah.
So I think Taylor's better than Helaire. That's my hot take of the day.
There's definitely a lot of experts out there that have the same opinion. I mean, when we did a pre-draft, I think we had Clyde Edwards-Helaire as like the 5 or 6.
Yep.
So he didn't have necessarily the dynasty pedigree from experts, but I'm going to defer to Patrick Mahomes on anything football.
Got it, especially passing.
Yes. For me, some of the other concerns I have with Josh Jacobs is I sat through I had him in 3 different leagues, and granted he's a rookie, but I watched Gruden's refusal to essentially start passing the ball, even though he's an excellent pass catcher. Just kept passing the ball to Richard and all the other scrubs they had in the Oakland backfield. And it's kind of something I'm like, okay, Richard's contract's done after this year. He's going to get more involved. He's going to be the true 3-down back. He's going to be the guy. That really still could be the case. But when they drafted Lynn Bowden Jr. with a high 3rd-round pick, and they say he's going to be a running back and he's this pass-catching specialist, it got me a little worried again that they might have this division of services where Josh Jacobs is your 1st and 2nd down back, and he's going to lose a lot more of the playing time to Lynn Bowden Jr. in the future. So
I sort of think that's a fair concern. I'm not so concerned about Lynn Bowden. I
Understandable.
feel like he's less Chris Thompson, more Cordell Patterson, which is a lot less concerned. If he's Cordell Patterson, you're really not concerned at all if you're as a Josh Jacobs owner. If he's Chris Thompson, you're petrified.
Yep.
So, I mean, that's where some of the dividing line is. I still would take your side on this trade 100%. But I can see where, I mean,
Yeah.
he got
it's
something out of it.
Trade. Yeah. Yeah. It's
Probably,
pretty even across the board. So.
I mean, he probably went a little low on Fournette.
Yeah. For me,
with Clyde Edwards-Helaire going the first round of the Chiefs, it really threw the dynamics of the normal value of the 101. Because usually the first running back off the board is already the guy they all expect. And then it just adds to the value instead of throwing the value where it's like, oh, crap. We were trying to decide between Swift and Taylor. Helaire?
Yeah.
Question mark?
He's put up there. And I've watched all the YouTube videos on Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and I think I might have been relying a little bit too much on the quote unquote expert opinion without making my own judgment first, because I like him a lot now, and that could be hindsight, it could be bias, don't know what it is. But
one thing I can tell you with 100% certainty, one of those LSU guys is not going to pan out.
It's true.
I don't know which one. It almost always works out when there's an offense that is that good.
Yeah.
Somebody gets the benefit of the other guys that are around them. I mean, Johnny Mansell was made a first-round pick because he played with Mike Evans, right?
Yep.
I mean, you kind of wonder a little bit on Tua with the. I'm kind of getting off base, but I mean, Tua could be the goods, but he also had four receivers that are all going to go.
Four receivers that are all going to go high first round. Yeah.
Two that went first round already, and I mean,
two if not three will next year.
Yeah, Smith and Waddle.
Yeah. So. That's nuts. And then yeah. So
I mean, because Reggie Bush and some of those guys made Matt Leinart look like a stud.
He was a stud. I don't know what you're talking about. Okay, well, that's really the nitty gritty of that trade. The other big thing we had going on, we haven't been talking for too long here, which is good, is we had a impromptu Twitter mock draft. I talked with Alan MMDL about this, and I kind of asked, what started this? He was actually just sitting there trying to poke fun at you, trying to figure out who you were going to take at the 3, trying to get some inside information.
He wouldn't confirm that, but I thought that's what was going on. He could have just asked me, and I might have told him.
Yep. And so after, there was a whopping 8 votes on the selections, he decided why not just run this through and do a first round. So what some of your takeaways from the overall Twitter mock draft, or even at just the 103?
I'll start with the 103. The fact that everyone thinks I'm taking a wide receiver at 103 is preposterous. It's going to be a running back. That is 100% sure.
Do you know which running back it is yet?
Yeah, that changes.
I've been sitting there trying to, the player I would want at 5, trying to determine who it's going to be from whatever it is. There was a period of time I switched back and forth every day. I'm pretty locked in now, so we'll see.
I think I'm locked in at what I'm going to do at 6, just based upon what happens.
Yeah.
But at 3, yeah. Every other day, I make a 100% sure decision.
You just want to dominate the Lions' backfield.
Why not?
And it's true. Why not? They're both good, and they're not going to be the same team forever, probably.
Yeah, I mean, and they'll have a new coach that actually knows how to play.
It's the same thing with the Jets. Yeah. So, anyways, so the differences in the last mock draft that we did, and this Twitter mock actually starts right away at the 3rd pick. So in our draft, we had the maybe futurely named Rowdy Rednecks. We'll have to touch on that later, maybe. Taking J.K. Dobbins. In our Twitter mock, the populace, the people, voted for CeeDee Lamb. It's worth noting that in the Twitter mock, the second place vote getting was DeAndre Swift. So
and other
Dobbins.
/ trade.
Yeah. So, this is another take I got from Al MMDL. I was talking to him. I said, so what are you going to do for this Twitter mock if the vote is other trade? And it was like, oh shit, I didn't think about that. I should just start throwing a fourth person. So I think he learned quickly when he saw the other / trade get close to being high up on the vote list.
Hand up, I voted for other / trade every time, just trying to get that.
Okay, well then we move on to the 104. So back on May 8th, we had Swanson taking DeAndre Swift. And the Twitter vote had Swanson taking DeAndre Swift.
I mean, so one thing we know is a lot of the reports coming out of the Hitless Saquon used to be Hitler Laquan until Chorwell failed, which gave him Saquon. A lot of the reports have been saying RB or bust, RB or bust, or RB or bust. What I am now starting to wonder is that smokescreen? I mean, it is draft season.
It's
leaking reports just to throw everyone off,
because you could be sitting there. You could take the based off our breaking news in here. It sounds like he could have his top wide receiver of his choice, which would be interesting. I think he does not pick again in the second round.
So it's one and done then.
So he's gonna have his option here, and then he doesn't think another pick until the third. But he's going to have his choice of either the top receiver or one of these top running backs. So,
yeah, he doesn't pick till 304.
It's a good year to pick in the top 5.
Yeah, I mean, you really can't go wrong.
Top 7, really, actually. So, yeah, I think Swansby getting Swift there would be great for him.
I would agree.
Okay, well, then we move to the 105. In our May 8th mock, we had the Hoyman Hammers taking CeeDee Lamb. Well, in this Twitter mock, CeeDee Lamb is gone. And the people voted for J.K. Dobbins. What are your thoughts on that one?
I mean, I feel like it's kind of a no-brainer at that point. I mean, unless you're going to, maybe you'll go wide receiver, but you're sitting a lot better at wide receiver than running backs. And I've said all along that I think you're going 3 running backs. I've told anybody who's wanted to listen. I know you've wavered around on what you're going to do, but I still have not heard anything that's going to change my mind yet to date. You certainly can tell me different right now, but I think you're going 3 running backs to bolster that.
There's
the fact that you have
I would say there's definitely a good chance to go 3 running backs, but it depends which running backs are available. So we'll see. Or there's a possibility that I could trade the 105. You never know how desperate Connor could be.
Yeah, it's true. He does need a running back.
So then at the 106, so this probably irked you even more, the Twitter mock, but so going back to our May 8th one, you had selecting Jerry Jeudy, and the Twitter mock had you selecting Jerry Jeudy. So I voted for Akers in this. And I'll say the reason I voted for Akers in this, I'm like, in the hypothetical world where you would have taken CeeDee Lamb at the 103, I don't see there any feasible solution or situation where you would take in another receiver with one of the top running backs still on the board at 106. Granted, it'll be good for your team. To some respects, you can see Lamb and Jerry Jeudy with your plethora of running backs, but I just didn't see it happening from just a building a team perspective.
Yeah, I mean, Akers, Jeudy, you can't really go wrong with either one of these picks right here. And I mean, to a certain extent, you're just trying to accumulate good players in your team, and then you figure it out later. So I mean, yeah, like I said, either way, I mean, it's going to work out. But if we were sitting in a situation where I took a receiver, which we already know is not going to happen, I can't wait till the first person tells me I'm putting out my own propaganda about this. Although I've secretly questioned if you were lying and putting propaganda about 102, 101, and 102 in the past.
Yeah, it's
But you've held
absent
pretty
COVID
stern.
happened.
Even if one of them catches COVID, I don't think it's probably going to be a big deal.
It's true. Or reports of somebody walking around on crutches. Breaking news. I know the three people that listen to this probably realize that Henry Ruggs is walking around on crutches right now. So
yeah, I don't think that's going to be that big of a deal, though. This is early enough.
Let him drop to the third round. I'll take him there.
Not if I get him right at the end of the second.
That's true. So then at the 107, this is more of the same here. On May 8th, we had Lance taking Cam Akers. And Twitter Mocky is taking Cam Akers. The only other player to get votes was Keyshawn Vaughn. So pretty unanimous who the people thought there. I think most of, at least you and I, we kind of realized there's a top 7 or 8. And this one was pretty clear, at least in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, it was definitely clear. I don't know if he'll have that option.
I have suspicion he probably won't.
I mean, this would be his best case scenario. I mean, if I'm sitting in his shoes, and I'm pretty sure he wants a running back looking at his team, with really, I mean, Miles Sanders, and then Bell and Drake. I mean, Drake's better off than Bell right now, but Bell's on the end of his career. James White doesn't have his quarterback anymore, so I mean, he's really looking pretty thin, and his wide receivers are sitting a lot better. I mean, yep. With Galladay, Godwin, McLaurin. So I think he really wants a running back.
I think he's running back or bust too, and the problem is he might be sitting at 107 and having to make that decision between Judy or Vaughn. I have a feeling what might end up being.
Could be.
And that's going to be a tougher decision to make.
Knowing Lance, it would never surprise me if he traded. And it wouldn't surprise me if he traded up or down.
Yeah. It's the other thing we did talk about too. Is I did, when I was making my poll, think about this is he's looking for that quarterback of the future. And the question is he going to be able to wait until the 207 to get Burrow or Tua? Because I think Burrow or Tua could go in that mid-second round right before he has an option.
Well, let's walk through this. Okay, so 201 is Ben.
Yep.
Ben has too many holes. That doesn't make sense to me. So 202 is what? You? No.
Yep. Not going to be me.
You're not going to be you. You spent too much on Murray already.
203 is Kane, and Kane has no quarterback. He could, at this year, he could have nothing.
See, I continue to disagree with you. I think Stafford is plenty fine.
The problem is I think Stafford's close enough for he really hasn't put together a really good fantasy season for a long time. But he this could be his last year, too. He's getting up there in age.
He's not that old.
What is he? He's got to be 32, 33.
That's not his last year? At 32? No way. I mean, I know his wife had cancer, but come on.
That had nothing to do with seems like an old bum.
I mean, the way quarterback's protected, there's no way he's going to be out this quick. That being said, it's not impossible that he does take one of those guys.
Yeah, he's 32.
Yeah, 32. He's got plenty of time. I mean, Roethlisberger, this could be his last year. Any year could be his last year.
Yeah.
With the way he takes hits. And Derek Carr, he's been Derek Carr.
Yep.
He's clearly been better than David Carr, but although he's got a bunch of weapons now.
I still think we both can realize how we used to draft Kane in redraft. He would take 2 quarterbacks in the first 2 rounds. He values that quarterback position highly. So I think,
but he hasn't done that in a few years. So that's why I'm on the side. I don't think he does as much anymore.
I think it's in the options, but
I think with Kane's current roster depth, though, he needs he shouldn't be taking a quarterback there, but I mean, it's certainly possible,
Yeah.
and it could pay off. I mean, one of them hits.
Who knows?
4 is Derek. He's certainly in quarterback territory.
Yeah.
I mean,
He's got Dwayne Haskins
and Garoppolo.
Yeah.
And then Jameis Winston for the potential future, and Cam Newton's still being not on a team. I don't know if maybe he can't throw, or I don't know.
I think that everything is a part of it. And then 205 is Connor. Connor won't do it.
No, 5's me. 205's me.
Yeah, you're not going to do it. And then Connor's 206.
Connor's 206. Connor's got Matt Ryan, Kirk Cousins, Tom Brady.
So the question is, Kane and Derek.
I mean, it's really down to those 2 spots. So as long as they don't both do it,
yeah,
he's probably safe. But
the question is, does he really like Burrow? Because good chance Burrow's not there.
Well, I'm going to throw a wrench in this discussion. You're the kind of guy who would trade in right ahead of him.
Always. And I only have one quarterback, really.
I mean, Darnold's your backup. So, I mean, that's not impossible to see you move up from 301 to 206.
Just to spite him to get trade bait later on. That is definitely possible.
Right?
Yeah.
All right. So moving along.
So then we were at the 108, and this is more of the same. We had Connor taking Vaughn in both drafts. We talk about Swanson saying running back or bust. Connor's, I know you say you think he might take receiver. To me, Connor is running back or bust because he doesn't have a running back.
I mean, unless he punts this year.
Well, the problem is that he punts this year. He still needs to get 2 next year somehow. So I think he needs to add 1 somehow this year and add another next year because he's a little depleted.
Yeah, well, I mean, Devonta Freeman takes this year off, and he gets 1 back, right?
Yeah, theoretically. Somewhere in there. I'm trying to find. I'm missing the. Okay, so at the 109.
I mean, well, let's take a step back here. I mean, Keyshawn Vaughn. I mean, he's certainly going to be the guy that we're not going to be able to predict.
Very true.
He could. I think we might have said this before. He could go anywhere as high as 106. I mean, all the way down to 203, and it's just a matter of if you like him or not.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's got the opportunity, and that's the biggest thing.
I mean, yeah, playing with Tom Brady with those wide receivers, yeah, there's plenty of opportunity. You're not going to see stack boxes there.
Well, the opportunity is more the only person he's going against is Rojo.
Yeah, but I mean, with those receivers though,
yeah,
I mean, you're going to see 6-man boxes.
He's going to see some value this season. He's got a pretty clear path.
Mm-hmm.
So, yep. So then the 109. So back in May, we had Haran taking Jalen Reagor. And then on the Twitter mock, they had Haran taking Ruggs. So 2 elite wide receivers, both drafted in the first round, one by the Eagles, one by the Raiders. I think it's pretty close to toss-up between the 2. Who knows? You might try to take another running back here too.
I mean, you generally can't go wrong with getting a first round NFL draft pick, a wide receiver at the end, near the end of the first round.
Yeah.
Or I mean, even the guys that we're going to get in the second round that are first round caliber or NFL first round caliber.
Or even, I mean, we're NFL first round. Ayuk is still there too.
That's what I'm saying. Because there were 6 of them, and there's not 6 that they're going to go in our first round.
Yep.
I mean, we're saying 6 running backs in the first round. That's only 4. That's 2 going in the second round. With just how our mock is, that's assuming the next pick doesn't go the Moss's way.
Yep. It's going to be deep, and yeah, I don't think you can really go wrong with the wide receiver options there. So we'll see. You're sitting pretty good there. Maybe somebody will try to trade up too. That's why I didn't have that option here. Then at our 110, we have, and on May 8th, we have Sam taking Henry Ruggs. But in the Twitter mock, It was a tie for 3 votes for Jalen Ray, or sorry, 2 votes for Jalen Ray Gore and 2 votes for Zach Moss. Personally, I look at Sam's team. His running backs are getting old, the majority of them. Gordon, Gurley, Mixon's fine, but the 2 people, Gurley and Gordon.
Carson might as well be old.
Yeah. Well, all those guys in 2 years, they might be done. They might be out of the league. If he wants to keep a dynasty or even a playoff run going, he needs to reload at running back. And it's hard to do when you're drafting at the 110 every year.
Can you put a price on 4 in a row? I mean,
I'm sure
he's already got 3 in a row. Like,
yeah,
anything he can do to win this year.
Well, that's the thing, is it's taking another wide receiver going to help his team this year.
No, my point is, like, it doesn't matter if he does terrible the next 5 years. He still could just say, "Hey, 4 Pete."
It's true. But he's not even thinking about the 4 Pete. He's thinking about the 5 and the 6, and I think that's why, for me, it's going to be Moss.
Got to get number 4 to get number 5.
It's true. So it's going to be interesting. I think there's still a lot. I mean, the second round is just loaded with players. I'm sure, there's someone out there that traded away their second round pick for something last year and is just kicking themselves. They don't have a first or second round pick. Don't know who that would be.
Swanson?
Loris. But who knows? Okay. Well, do you have anything else to close this out?
I mean, I'm just excited about getting all of this done. Make sure everybody gets their keepers in the app.
What are our dates? We'll put them here.
So the app, or the Yahoo, is going to tell you June 21st, but what that really means is basically midnight June 21st, like in the morning, not at night. So effectively, it's Saturday night, June 20th. And so I put that in the note on the website. I had one guy send me his keepers already via email as the backup.
And we should do that before that date too. And your address is here.
No one's necessarily required to. What it does is it's just easier to make sure you didn't fat finger something.
It's easy to do if there's been players traded off your team, etc.
Yeah, it helps a lot. The other thing I would say is, at minimum, tell me you put them in there, so then I just know, and I won't bother you. Otherwise, I'm going to start. I already sent the first round of bugging text messages.
Let me guess, those were sent to Kane and Loris.
I sent to everybody except for you and Swanson.
How dare you?
Mostly because I'm pretty sure you already did it, and I know Swanson already did it.
Yep.
So definitely do that. Don't be Loris of last year, where I had to text his wife on the night of the keeper deadline to make him do it. He had to, in the middle of a party, he had to go do it on his phone.
Jesus.
Like, what? Right? Don't be that.
Not enough notice.
It's not that hard to just open up the website, hit a bunch of clicks, because, I mean, you're making 4 decisions max on any team.
Yeah.
I mean, the other 15. Your first 15 you don't even have to think about.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for the Eurotel podcast, Eurotel.
Eurotel.
And now, awkward time for